Hi guys, where does GB News get most of its information from? Well, it seems a lot comes from the Daily Express. And like the Daily Express, they aren't much for detail or informing their viewers on what lies behind the headline. So they ran with a story about how the EU is paying the French €160 million to destroy surplus wine. Of course, this is designed to get a reaction from Brexiteers. Yeah, see, the EU is stupid, that's why our vote to impose economic sanctions upon ourselves is vindicated. Anyway, one of the hosts, Lewis Scaffer, drops a truth bomb at the beginning, which I'm surprised GB News didn't edit out. Have a listen.
Okay, well, finally in this section, the Sunday Express and France.
He says, oh my God, that's not the truth bomb. Oh my God to the Express.
Has destroyed more wine than me on a Friday night.
Oh, yes.
Only just.
Barely.
EU pays France, EU, the European Union.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Well, just so you know, because they still...
You don't know who's watching.
You know what? You don't know who's watching this channel. Anyway.
You don't know who's watching this channel. You know, insulting the viewers, that's always a good start. And, well, you know, after the Brexit referendum, one of the top searches on Google was, what is the EU? Anyway.
This channel that pays your wages. Lewis,
I know.
So what's going on? So why is France destroying all their wine? I thought that's what their thing was, wine.
Because people have stopped, in Europe, people have stopped drinking wine as much. Then it's down up to 34% in Portugal and 16%.
No, that's not true, Lewis. Okay, look,
true.
look, let's look at the stats. I mean, the article makes it clear. Wine consumption has fallen 7% in Italy, 10% in Spain.
I said.
15 in France, 34 in Portugal. Look at this, though.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, wine production across the EU rose by 4%.
Yes, I was
In other words,
getting to
it's
that.
just the whiny countries,
Yeah,
right?
the whiny.
They're going down,
Yeah.
and all the other countries. It's because other people are getting better at wine. We've got good wine
Yes.
now. Even
Right, so
us.
English wine.
So why should European Union tax dollars that have been collected from people in Europe go to and these are some of the biggest businesses, the wine growers.
Yeah.
You think that some little guy with shoes with the bare feet? No, these companies are all those big liquor companies.
Yes.
They own all the wineries.
So why are they destroying? Cressida, that's
Well, it's like
a
when we
waste.
used to have milk lakes, isn't it? With overproduction.
With
you've
the
got
butter mountain.
Yes, all that
kind of
stuff.
And
So they're trying to do a De Beers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Release it bit by bit. And apparently craft beer is to blame. Well, that's responsible for a lot of
So can't they give the wine away?
Well, I was
this
thinking...
wine, give it to the people who need it, give it to the homeless.
I don't think this wine's going to get destroyed. I think somebody from the British Museum who's out of work is probably going to be taking a trip to France.
That'll be
Might
what
find some
happens.
great
Because they're
deals.
wrong-uns at the British Museum, we've decided.
Absolutely wrong.
All of them.
You know what, they're wrong-uns, they are.
They are. I'm not going to take that back.
Okay, so the main story here, of course, is the EU pays France $160 million to destroy surplus wine as prices collapse. Of course, the Express and GB News, it's a massive oversimplification. Anyway, so what is this about? Well, yes, there's an oversupply. There's a drop in consumption in winey countries, but other parts of Europe there is an increase in wine production, local production. So when it comes to France in particular, if you actually look at the story, what the EU is doing is it's providing resources, money available to the French government to help wine producers. This isn't so much about big companies. This is more about smaller producers who are struggling as a result of the cost of living crisis. You know, it's more difficult to sell the wine, and it's very expensive to store it, because it's very expensive to store something that you can't sell. So this wine has to be destroyed in some ways, or it has to be used in other ways. And in other reports, they've talked about using it in perfumes and stuff like this. So some of this wine will be used, some of it cannot be used, but it's expensive to store it. And if the producers can't store it, they're just going to dump it down the drain. So you don't want them doing that either. Some of this money is going to help producers change in France in particular to, for example, growing olives. So this is support from the EU to help small producers in particular change their production from wine production to other types of crops in order to deal with the cost of living crisis. So on the surface, it looks like the EU is giving money to France to destroy wine, which is, as I said, an oversimplification. It's much more complicated than that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.